Have you ever stared at a single blue dot on a screen and felt your entire world fracture? It was 2:17 a.m. on a Tuesday, the city of Chicago dead quiet outside our window. I was looking at my wife Sarah's phone, my thumb hovering over her Google Maps history. A single recurring pin dropped every Monday night for the past 6 months, the Viceroy Hotel off State Street. It wasn't a work trip. It wasn't a girls' night. It was a lie. Glowing in pixelated detail on the screen in my hand. And in that cold, silent moment, I knew my marriage was a ghost. The only question left was what I was going to do about the haunting. If you genuinely enjoy our stories, please subscribe to the channel. Tell us where you're from, and what time it is right now. It's always fascinating to know how far our story flows. For 15 years, my life with Sarah had been perfect. Or so I thought. We had the beautiful 2-story brownstone in Lincoln Park, the matching Autos, the life we'd meticulously built since we were college sweethearts. I was a partner at an architecture firm downtown. She was a senior marketing director at a major corporation. We were the couple people envied. The ones who still held hands, who finished each other's sentences. But for the last year, a subtle chill had crept in. It started with her working late, then business trips I wasn't invited on. The excuses were always plausible, wrapped in the language of corporate ambition. I was a supportive husband, so I supported her. I made dinner, walked the dog alone, and went to bed in an increasingly cold and empty bed. Telling myself this was the price of success. The strange behavior became a pattern. Her phone, once left casually on the kitchen counter, was now permanently attached to her hip, screen down. She'd take calls in the other room, her voice a low, secretive murmur. When I'd walk in, she'd hang up abruptly. "Just a spam call," she'd say, her smile never quite reaching her eyes. Then came the receipts I found in her coat pocket: dinners for 2 at Gibson S-Bar and Steakhouse on a night she was supposedly working late on a solo project. Credit card statements showed charges I didn't recognize, expensive lingerie, gifts I never received. She became a stranger in my own home, a master of deflection and gaslighting. "You're being paranoid, Alex," she'd scoff, her eyes cold and dismissive. "Maybe you should see someone about this insecurity. It's not attractive." The villains, her and whoever she was with, felt untouchable, wrapped in a bubble of arrogance, while I was the one being made to feel crazy. The breaking point came on our anniversary. I'd booked a table at Alinea, the same place I proposed. She canceled an hour before, a flat text message, "Swamped at work, rain check." I drove past her office building on my way home, just on a gut feeling. Her floor was dark, every office was empty. I sat in my car on Wacker Drive, the city lights blurring through my tears, and the humiliation was a physical weight. I felt small, pathetic, a fool. That night I didn't sleep. I just sat in the living room, staring at the life we built, and realized it was all a beautifully constructed lie. That's when the broken man inside me died, and something else, something cold and strategic, began to take his place. My revenge began not with a bang, but with a click. The click of a keylogger installing on her laptop. The click of a tiny audio recorder I hid in her car. And the fateful click that opened her Google Maps history. For 2 months, I became a ghost. I gathered evidence with a chilling detachment. I downloaded every text message, every email. The affair partner was Mark, a smarmy vice president from her company. A man I'd met at holiday parties who shook my hand while sleeping with my wife. Their messages were sickeningly cliché, full of corporate speak pet names and plans for their future, a future built on the ashes of my life. Hotel receipts from the Viceroy. Flight confirmations for a business trip to Miami that was actually a romantic getaway, even their dinner reservations. I hired a private investigator, a grizzled ex-cop who gave me a folder thick with photos of them kissing in a parking garage, holding hands on the Riverwalk. The proof was undeniable, a mountain of betrayal. With the evidence secured, I set my traps. First, the legal. I met with the most ruthless divorce attorney in Chicago. We structured the filing to hit with maximum impact, using the infidelity clause in our prenup to my full advantage. All our major assets were in a joint trust. One I quietly dissolved and moved into a new account under my name only. A move that was legally sound but would take her months to untangle in court. The social trap was more intricate. Sarah was chairing a major charity gala for her company, her crowning achievement, as she called it. She'd be giving a speech in front of 500 of Chicago's elite, including her CEO and the board of directors. I bought a table right at the front. I also sent a carefully curated anonymous package to Mark's wife, a sweet woman I'd also met at parties. The package contained just 3 things: a photo of Mark and Sarah kissing, a copy of a hotel receipt with his name on it, and a single typed note: the Grand Ballroom. The Drake Hotel, this Friday at 8 p.m., you deserve to know. The night of the gala was cinematic. Sarah was on stage, glowing under the spotlight in a $1,000 dress. Speaking about integrity and commitment, she was untouchable. She reached the crescendo of her speech. I saw Mark's wife slip into the back of the ballroom, her face pale. At that exact moment, my lawyer served Sarah's CEO with a pre-litigation notice, detailing a formal complaint against a senior director for using company funds to facilitate an extramarital affair, citing Mark by name. The CEO's face went from a proud smile to a mask of fury. Then, as Sarah paused for applause, a single piercing voice cut through the room. "You're a liar." It was Mark's wife, walking down the center aisle. The room fell silent. All eyes darted between her and Sarah, whose face had crumbled. My final move was a quiet one. I stood up and, without a word, walked out of the ballroom, leaving the inferno to burn behind me. The aftermath was total annihilation. Sarah was fired the next day. The scandal ripped through her industry, making her unemployable. Mark was also fired, and his wife filed for divorce, taking him for everything. Our friends, seeing the mountain of evidence I quietly shared, sided with me. Sarah was left with nothing. No job, no husband, no lover, no friends, and a legal battle she couldn't afford to fight. The last time I saw her was in the courtroom. The arrogance was gone, replaced by a hollow, haunted look. She was a ghost of the woman I once loved, completely and utterly ruined. I sold the house in Lincoln Park. I don't live in Chicago anymore. Sometimes late at night I think about that blue dot on the map, the single point where everything shattered. It wasn't just a location. It was the epicenter of a lie that consumed everything. The end.